The Magna Carta is one of the most celebrated documents in history, bringing justice and freedom to their people. The document's name, Magna Carta, means Great Charter. It all started in the year 1215 in England, ruled by King John, also known as the Bad King, and who is, according to the English, deemed to be one of the worst rulers in English history. King John found pleasure in torturing many of his people, including throwing himself upon his former friends' wives and daughters, imprisoning his enemies that he captured from prior wars, and having them starve to death. During his rule, he lost a lot of territories that he had inherited while seizing the throne from his father, including Brittany and other territories within France. In order to plot getting that land back, he had the brilliant idea of using unprecedented or unknown to the public sums of money to correct his mistake. He even taxed his people unannounced, which angered them. He would even take over the land and goods of those that refused to pay and would put them in jail. After coming up with the right amount, he finally went through with the plot of getting all that land back in 1214, but upsettingly enough, it was a complete disaster. King John was too afraid when he was challenged to go into battle by the French, and Philip Augustus, the King of France at the time, defeated all his allies in the north and kept the land. King John failed at the reconquest of his lost land and came home defeated with his pockets empty. After his loss, his subjects thought this would be a good idea to demand reform from King John for the way he ruled his people. The king managed to avoid them for at least 6 months until they became fed up. After dealing with the king for this long, his critics seized his capital, London, and knew that the king would be forced to meet with them and negotiate. King John was forced to grant their request and agreed to negotiate within a month after meeting his critics in Runnymede. However, after signing the new set of laws for his people that he didn't agree to, King John complained to the Pope that he had to sign the contract due to threats, violence, and constraints. Even though the Pope wasn't too fond of King John, he still vowed that the document is deemed invalid if the king does not approve of it and had to sign it forcefully. The Pope's declaration created uproar throughout England, and a civil war had started. Their beloved King John did not survive to see the end of the war. He died of dysentery, an infection of the intestines resulting in severe diarrhea with the presence of blood and mucus in the feces. It is believed that he had contracted this infection during the war he started to reconquest his lost land. After his death, King Henry III, John's son, was put in his place. The Magna Carta had been reissued a few times throughout the 13th century in order to keep the peace and to continue making changes to fit every individual living in England. The Magna Carta has lived up to 800 years and its laws are still present today. The Magna Carta is a set of laws that establish different guidelines of all individuals. Two of the most useful for that time and still relevant today is for the king to also follow that set of laws and for individuals to have the chance to go to trial rather than simply being imprisoned. Not only was the document used as a new set of laws for the people, but it was also seen as a peace treaty. 8 individuals were listed within the Magna Carta and specifically mentioned to remove him from office. They were similar to King John and came into power along with him. A well-known individual who now lives as a myth is Robin Hood. The document is a clear example of resemblance within the Declaration of Independence, including the format of the laws being written down. The original living copy we have now of the Magna Carta. The document is a clear example of resemblance within the Declaration of Independence, including the format of the laws being written down. The original living copy we have now of the Magna Carta does not have King John's signed seal. However, it is noticeable to see where it had been placed. Now, let's analyze this important piece of history. In your journals, I want you to write down the key steps that were needed to be taken in order for the Magna Carta to be considered a legal document. You can use bullet points or full sentences. Full sentences would be ideal. And secondly, I want you to analyze the video. In what ways was this information of the video presented to you? Was it really casual, serious, or was it in a certain sequence? Explain why you chose your response. Oh, and you can have more than one answer.